What's up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly scraps. We had a great showing at UFC Vegas 106. We have the emergence of a new top talent contender in Michael Morales, aka Spider Man, into the universe. My man came out there and did something to Gilbert Burns that I don't think anyone has actually done. I mean, he's had some great fights, some back and forth ones. Obviously, now on a four-fight skid, losing a decision to Bilal Muhammad. But I do think his career started to, or not his career, his performance started to change after the Hamzat Chimaev fight. Now, follow me for this on this for a second. Great, crazy war with Hamzat Chimaev. Really tight fight. Goes into the fight with Neil Magny, takes him down relatively easy, submits him in round one. And then from there, he fights Jorge Masvidal. And I know you're going to say, well, he had two fights where he looked pretty good. Well, the Neil Magny fight was kind of a stylistic nightmare for a guy like Neil Magny, who's shown time and time again, if you could take him to the ground and you have any kind of jiu-jitsu, he doesn't seem to do as well. And that's not a knock. It's just an observation from watching him fight, right? He goes in there with Masvidal. This is the point where Masvidal is just not the same Masvidal who was, the rebirth, I would say. And I'm on Masvidal's record right now, or this is not his actual record. Let me click his name. I click the decision. But when he fought Burns, that was after losing to Usman again, Covington, and then he lost to Burns. So that was like on the downside of the Masvidal train where he won the BMF title and all these things. And he had those highlight reel knockouts over a guy like Darren Till when Darren Till was still kind of the man at the time in the MMA scene. And then, of course, Ben Askren, that went crazy viral. But he beats him. He loses to Bilal Muhammad by decision. He gets finished by Jack Maddalena. Sean Brady beats him by decision. And, of course, the Michael Morales TKO now in round one. And just the performance overall, I know this isn't about Gilbert, but I think it's hard to say like this was the prime version of Gilbert that he beat, but he still beat a very big name, a reputable name, a guy who's been in there with the who's of the division of 55 and 170. And for him to do it to him like that, pause, no Diddy, that shit was crazy. I didn't think it was going to look that easy. I mean, everything he did was so precise, so accurate. The way he was moving on his feet, the timing of those right hands. And those right hands are like, I'm watching it with the boys, me, Marab, Vato, Kassane, Pumi, Nassim. And we're just like, yo, those are like sledgehammers that he's just thumping them with. The first one had him covered up where he was like, yeah, maybe he lost his bearings or his equilibrium. But normally when you get your equilibrium taken away from you, you drop. You tend to fall. Most guys tend to fall. But he got hit with some shit that he did not like. And you could see an instant reaction where he's covered up and he drops down to like a crouching position on his knees, trying to defend himself. And I'm like, please don't stop the fight yet. Gilbert, fight back. Please, Gilbert, stay in the fight. I thought the ref was about to stop it. Thank God he didn't stop it that early in the first one. Gilbert grabs the leg. I'm thinking, okay, this might be the turnaround. Maybe Morales might punch himself out and slow down, and then we're going to have ourselves a back and forth fight. But Morales didn't let that happen. Spider-Man was not here for the shits. Spider-Man was here to do business and save the world, what he deemed to be evil. And, of course, Gilbert Burns is not evil. I'm joking. But he gets the job done in beautiful fashion. I don't know if there's anything I can even critique about the performance, in my personal opinion. I mean, that was relatively early in round one. Maybe not relatively early, but it's still a dude. He had at least almost 90 seconds left to survive after those onslaughts that he got put on him. And for Morales to look like that, so poised. How old is this young buck again? 25, dog. His wingspan is 79 inches. I don't think y'all understanding. 79 inches and Gilbert's was like 72. This man is a physical specimen, proportionally built great for this division. He's 6 feet tall, 79-inch reach. He's 25, young, hungry, just a bull right now. And for him to do what he's doing, representing for Ecuador, putting on for his people, para mi gente, it's nice to watch. And we have a new contender in the welterweight division. The welterweight division is great again, all over again. There was a time where the welterweight division for me was kind of like, eh. I mean, there's one guy there. It's not many other guys, kind of old. Now you got all these faces. You got the King still and Usman looking to make his return against a young prospect who's surging hot right now, and Joaquin Buckley, who's hungry. He said he got kids to feed. And you got Shavkat. You have, I mean, you can't say Luke. Yeah, I'm not gonna say Luke, but you got Sean Brady. You got all these tough, talented dudes. Ian Gary. Who's the other one? I feel like I'm missing someone, and I feel like they just fought. And obviously, I don't mean to do it, but you got Shavkat, Ian Gary, Joaquin Buckley, Usman, Bilal Muhammad. Um, shit, I feel like I'm forgetting someone. You still got Leon Edwards in the mix. Usman still in the mix, and of course Jack Della Maddalena, the new champ. And now you have Islam Makhachev coming up to the welterweight division. This division is on fire right now. A lot of fun fights to be made, and it's going to give us an interesting shape of the division for the next, I would say, 2 years easily. Just depending on injuries and things like that, the activity, I think there's going to be a lot of fun fights to be made. Enter Michael Morales, Spider-Man, into the universe. Now let's look at his UFC run so far. Getting on the Contender Series, beating Nikolai Varekteknikov. Decision. He beats Trevin Giles, KO or TKO. Round 1. Round 3, he beats Adam Fugit. Finish. Max Griffin by decision. Jake Matthews by decision. Neil Magny, finish. And now Burns. So in the UFC, he is officially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 0. So I think this puts him right in there with the elite. Easily top 10. He's got to have maybe a 6 or a 7 by his name, I would imagine, something like that. I don't know exactly or remember exactly where Gilbert Burns was ranked, so maybe he just takes his spot. But based on that performance in round 1, I think he should move up to like a 6 or 7. I think what he did was pretty damn impressive and very, very hard to do to a veteran like Gilbert Burns. And Burns, like I said, he's been in there with the baddest guys in the division already and the who's of the division. And he's giving all these guys a run for their money, if not beating them. So, Miles Morales. I couldn't even say that with a straight face, Miles Morales. Michael Morales, man, round 1. I think what impressed me the most with him was his power. It seems like if he touches you, even remotely clean, you get stunned. And I think that's one of the things he really has going for him. I don't know if Burns could have done anything really different in that fight. It just seems like he was trying to step in and hope one of those hooks were going to land. But every time Morales was able to maintain the range with those long ass arms, step back with his footwork, cut an angle, and just being completely out of the way and having Gilbert Burns whiff on those punches. Now to do that, not take any real damage in that fight, at least in that short less than 4 minute display, I think there's really not many things that you could point out and say, like, he doesn't do this well, he doesn't do that well. You would have to look back at the other fights that he actually went to a decision or even to round 3 to get a finish to see if there's anything that you could pick up on. But from what I'm seeing, there's no bad tendencies. His hands, his positionings are in the right places. I would like to see what his ground game actually looks like. And I think that's going to be a big game changer if someone can actually get him to the ground. But for now, he's keeping it standing. He's banging. And he's putting guys away. This is a fun fighter to watch. I did see that video that said it was like the Ecuadorian tradition. I don't know how true that is. You guys can let me know in the comments because that was kind of crazy. I was like, my man just went from whooping ass, and then I see him in a video dressed like a female in a dress, and they saying it's like to see if you could get money or rob people or something like that. Like, I don't know the whole premise of it. I didn't do no research on it to see if it was real or not. I just saw the video and people in the comments saying that this is what it is. I have no idea, but that shit was kind of like, he'll still kick my ass. So I can't really say much, but I'm going to say a lot. I don't like it. I don't like it. Not for me. But other than that, I don't know where Gilbert Burns goes from here. I think he's got some soul searching to do. I know he did that walking interview where he was talking about after the Hamza fight got relatively popular and he kind of got his eyes off the prize a bit. But I think with a young, hungry prospect like this, even the best version of Gilbert Burns, I think would have struggled with the distance, the reach, the height, trying to get to him and cut off the footwork. There was nothing in there that I could see in that performance that he could have maybe changed as maybe back him up to get him towards the cage to land those combinations. But every time he did swing, he swung big, right hands, big right hand into a big left hook. Nothing straight down the middle, nothing like trying to angle or cut him off. And I'm not even saying like those things would have been a game changer, but it could have made him get into the fight and possibly land a little bit more strikes. Even just starting the sequence with the jab, fake, come back with the jab, and then look for that 1-2 or something like that, or maybe even go into the body. But everyone's game is different. I know Gilbert on the ground, he's a beast. He couldn't get the takedown, and Morales just fought really, really well. There's not much else I can say about that. And I like this guy's ceiling. I think if he could keep on this path with that power, Carlos Prates, that's who I forgot. Um, he's up there with those guys. I think this is a dangerous prospect that these guys need to keep their eyes on. And I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of guys lining up to say, give me Mike Morales. I want the Spider-Man next. I don't think guys are doing that. I mean, they might say they'll fight him if they have to, but I don't think that's going to be their first choice. It wouldn't be my first choice. I want to fight the best guys, of course, but when I'm making my way up, if I could get a stylistically favorable matchup, I'm going to take it. Who wouldn't? But I always took the fights that I was given. So there was no negotiating on, can I get this imposed instead? I remember times I've been asked, like, who do I want to fight out of these top 5 guys? And I pick the guy and I say, this guy, because I think if Marlon Moraes wins, then we fight for the belt, and then I get redemption to fight him again for the title and get to redeem that loss. But things didn't work out that way. One guy went up, one guy went the other direction, and that's just a fight game, right? So for Morales, I'm just thinking, or some of these other guys, if you can avoid him, I can see why you would want to avoid him. But somebody's going to have to pick up the slack, and someone's going to have to accept that fight. One of these guys in the top 10 is going to have to deal with this problem, and it's not going to be easy. So I'm looking forward to see what he does next. But I do think he proved that he does belong with the elite of the division, and of course he has something to prove, in my opinion. He wants to become a UFC champion. Who doesn't? That's when the real money comes in, where your paycheck makes a big uptick. And of course, if you were to lose the belt, or even lose after challenging for the belt, your paycheck tends to still stay higher than it would have been if you had never challenged for the belt. It would have just been a much longer road to get to that positioning where you could make that kind of money within the UFC company, So that's that. Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, some of these guys, I don't know. This might be the wave of the new welterweight contenders finally happening, and I do think some of these guys have been passing with flying colors. Of course, Prates versus Ian Gary, the two prospects, had to fight each other at some point. They fought each other early, and I still think both of those guys are the new school game, the new school wave of talent, I should say. And I don't think they're going anywhere. These guys are here to stay. Some of the other fights that I thought were really, really fun. Of course, Marion Santos, he gets a big win, much needed redemption win for him. And of course, I would imagine for his own ego, and not in a negative way. Like, as a fighter, for your own ego, you want to feel like that last one, people thought I lost. Well, I got to win the next one and really prove that I'm the guy still, and sometimes we have an off day. And I think maybe that's what happened with Santos. He had an off day, but I still think Francis Marshall did win that round. But regardless, that's neither here or there. That's in the past. Santos got the win. He comes back, and he follows up and gets another one over a tough prospect or former prospect in Sadiq Yusuf. This guy has been he was on a berserker streak for a while, beating up the competition, looked really dominant until he ran into Arnold Allen, lost by decision, had some really good finishes, had a barn burner with Edson Barbosa where he hurt Barbosa bad in that first round. I thought the fight was over. Then Barbosa comes back. He wins by decision. Then he runs into Diego Lopez, loses in round 1 in 90 seconds, a minute and 29 seconds. And then Marion Santos, he just lost again. So that's 3 in a row against tough competition. Of course, Marion Santos isn't right now at the top of the heap of the division, either 45 or 55. But with that said, Santos is good. He's losing to good guys. And I don't know where Sadiq goes from here. But Santos, I think he has a really bright future. He has a hard style to do it. He stays in good positioning the whole time. His hand is kind of doing like this thing like this, and he's faking, and then he's throwing the calf kick, or he's faking, and he's throwing the teep kick from both sides, front kick and teep kick. And then he's moving really, really well. And if you rush in, he stings you with that right hand that he has just sitting here cocked doing this thing that he does. I like to do impersonation of fighter stances and stuff. It helps me, especially when I'm sparring with the guys, to give them certain looks that they need so I could imitate their opponents as best as I can. But Santos is really, really good. And, yeah, I'm curious to see if he stays at 155 or he comes back down to featherweight. I don't know what happened with this decision to go up to featherweight. I don't know if this was like I don't even know what to call it. Like, who decided? Oh, it says Santos in the Topology News. Marion Santos News. Marion Santos may permanently move to lightweight after Sadiq Youssef fight. This is per his interview, discusses his lightweight fight against Sadiq. I don't know how it came about, but this is the situation that it's in right now. And I'm curious to know if it was because of the weight cut from his fight with Francis Marshall. Maybe he felt that took away from his cardio or something. But, yeah, he's a lightweight now, it seems. And, of course, Sadiq Youssef is a featherweight. So Santos, I thought, looked bigger than him in there. It's going to be interesting to see if Youssef goes back down and what happens with him from here, because that's 3 in a row, of course. You end up having to fight down the ladder, and you probably run into another young, hungry prospect, this time back at 145, and he's going to need to perform in a big way to keep his contract, of course. That's one. And, of course, to make more money. You want to get both checks. You got to be winning. Always be winning. Then we have the barn burner between Melquizael Costa versus Julian Erosa. This fight was crazy. Back and forth war. Round 1, Juicy J on the gas. Straightforward, putting the pace on Costa. Costa doing a great job countering, throwing those body kicks. Julian doing a good job catching it, throwing him down to the ground, getting him off balance, and trying to push in. The one unique difference I saw in between those two styles, Julian wasn't moving his head. Every time he was coming forward, he wasn't moving his head. He was determined to just walk forward and punch, and most of his strikes were hooks. Now, a couple of issues with that. When you are tall, someone lanky like Julian Erosa, 35 years old, he has a 74-inch reach, long limbs. He makes himself fight shorter by throwing hooks when he could be throwing straight punches down the middle to really back these guys up and find a little bit more accuracy. Even if he wants to throw the hook coming from the jab, it just makes it a little bit cleaner. And I know it was a little awkward when I did that. It's like weird. But you throw the jab, you lead it, you find the distance, you connect with the hook. But that's only if you can establish the jab first. If you start coming in with just hooks, it's super easy, even with the smaller gloves, to still roll with the punches, cover with the punches. You got your pillow blocks, you got your headphones, you just cover the whole side, your pillars, everything just kind of blocking, circling, getting out of the way. You kind of know exactly where those punches are coming from or where they're going to be going. And we were all saying if he just straightens out these punches a little bit, he's going to find that target a lot easier. And Julian looked, to me, a lot bigger in there when they were like in the clinch in situations like that. He tried a couple times to get the takedown. Mescal did a great job of defending. And again, he was coming off of a 3-fight winning streak after losing 2 in a row to Alex Caceres and Fernando Padilla. He comes back. He finishes Ricardo Lamas in round 1, finishes Christian Rodriguez in round 1, finishes Darren Elkins in round 1 on a nasty groove, runs into Mescal on short notice. That was a great opportunity for both these guys on really good win streaks. And again, it was a great performance. Mescal was on a 3-fight win streak as well, now 4. and just great performances by both of these guys. I don't want to say all, both of these guys. The one guy who did beat Costa was this guy, Steve Garcia, who I think is actually really damn good. So, Steve Garcia at 45, he's beaten Costa. Actually, he's on the bigger. He beat Chase Hooper. He beat Nurdan Becky, Costa, Wu Choi, Kyle Nelson. 5 in a row, and they're all finishes. Yeah, this division is hot right now. There's a lot of prospects that aren't ranked that could easily be ranked and beating guys. And he's also super tall. He's 6 feet tall, 73-inch reach. Just a dog. So yeah, a lot of things heating up in this division. But this guy beat Mezcal, and now Mezcal has turned around and come back and won 4 in a row. So a lot to be said about that. Great fight by both of these guys. They got the fight of the night. I mean, these guys should get an extra bonus, in my opinion. Like, when you have a fight like that, I don't want to say rock'em, sock'em, robot, but when you're fighting and putting on that hell of a pace and the crowd is getting into it and both guys are getting beaten up bad, it deserves a little extra love in the bank account. But I'm not the boss. I don't make the rules. With that said, great fight, both guys. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for the two of them. Hopefully I get something in that time. I'm curious to know if the fans thought the right guy won that fight between Costa and Erosa. I was leaning towards Costa 2-1. I thought Julian came on late in the second round, and I thought in the third he took it by picking up where he left off. But round one was the deciding factor. I think he took a little bit too much damage too early, letting Costa get a little bit too far ahead on the scorecards. And not even on the scorecards, just in the damage department, where now you're not moving as efficiently. Yeah, you have the gas and you could keep pushing forward, and this guy's slowing down. But I think if you could be a little bit more fresh and then still keep that pace, I think it's way worse for the other guy, because now he's not landing anything, and now when he gets tired, he might not have won the first round. I think you make it a little bit harder to score, and maybe you get the round, maybe you don't. And this just comes from just, I guess, experience and things like that. But yeah, that's where things are at. I thought the right guy won, so I'm curious to know what you guys thought. Gabriel Green. This guy was fighting at 170. He fought Brian Battle, Ian Machado, Gary, Johan Lanesi. He was out for a while after his fight with Brian Battle. That was in 2023. Now finally making his return against a tough prospect in Mateus Camilo. I had Camilo all day. I've trained with Camilo, just like I trained with Julian Erosa, Dan Ige. These guys are good. So there was no doubt in my mind that Camilo was going to land that haymaker shot that he just finds on almost everybody, especially in the room. This guy, he's hurt some people. He hurt some people. I might be one of them. He's hurt some people. But with that said, crazy for him to get the win like that. Very, very impressive. And it was a come-from-behind victory. I felt like the choke wasn't all the way on, but just from the angle, at least what it looked like in the beginning. And then when they showed the replay, I'm like, man, maybe he could have fought the hands a little bit and turned. But maybe he was just really, really tired at that point and in a bad spot. Sometimes it just goes like that. But great fight from both guys. Man, Gabe Green dogged it out. Again, congrats to him. I'm looking at Thiago Moises. I really thought Mateus was going to get the job done, but I know he's going to be back in a big way. So congrats to Gabe Green, and hopefully we get to see Camilo come back in better form. Almost had that triangle choke. I think the triangle choke into the armbar maybe gassed his legs, and when he didn't get it, was just extremely exhausted after that type of a pace of a fight that he was putting on, landing those big shots, or should I say throwing with big power. Because it wasn't, I don't want to say it was super, like, volume, like the Erosa Costa fight. It wasn't like that, but there was big power in those punches. And I think after squeezing like that, trying to get the choke, you saw the veins in Green's head, not getting the finish. The guy comes out, you're kind of like deflated a little bit, and then the guy just picks up momentum, just keeps putting the pace on you, and you're like, damn, this sucks. Then we have Jared Gordon. The last one I would like to talk about. He gets a nasty knockout counter right hand win over Thiago Moises. Jared Gordon is 36. Moises is 30. But for Gordon, having such an up and down career, no contest with Bobby Green from the headbutt, beating Mark Madsen, the Olympic medalist, losing to Hasrat, um, coming back and getting a big knockout in a huge, huge way over a gritty guy who took Islam Makhachev to the fourth round. You know, this guy's he's no pushover. He went to the fourth round with Islam Makhachev before he got submitted, fought Joel Alvarez, lost that one, round one, which I was really, really shocked how that went. Comes back, beat Christos Giagos, round one, rear naked choke. Mezcal Costa, who just beat Julian Rosa, submits him in round two, loses to Benoit Saint Denis in round two, beats Mitch Ramirez by leg kicks in round three. Ludwig Klein, he loses to him by decision. Trey Ogden, he beats him, then loses to Jared Gordon. Such an up and down career so far. Alternating wins and losses, getting on a streak and then getting it broken. It's a tough game, man. It's a tough, tough sport for anyone who can get a crazy win streak and put together. Like, people need to start putting respect on these guys' names. Yeah, they might not be the most entertaining all the time, but when you're in there with these killers, it is hard. It's hard. So when a guy gets a win, give him his flowers, give him his praise. And again, it's not always going to be a barn burner fight. You can't fight like that 3, 4, 5 fights in a row. Your career is going to be as good as cooked. As good as cooked, unless you're not sparring and you're just taking all the damage in the fight and then you're taking some time to recover, then maybe you could do that for a while. A little bit longer. But if you're doing that, sparring hard, not really giving your body a break, not really giving your brain a break, and then you're going in there and you're scrapping like that, that longevity, it's going to haunt you. It's going to catch up to you. It's going to be like, Father Time says, stop. Father Time says, sit. Knockdown, TKO, KO, chin is broken in. A lot easier to happen now. So, yeah, that's my take on that. But and again, for Jared Gordon to come back, like, he was on a 3-fight winning streak at a point. And for him to come back after losing to Grant Dawson, he beats Santos. He loses to Patty in a fight that a lot of people thought he won, including myself. I thought he edged it out. But Patty also redeemed himself. Bobby Green, no contest. Mark Madsen, he wins. He gets a finish in round one. Loses a split decision to Hasrat. And then knocks out Thiago Moises. He's on his way, man. I think he deserves a ranked opponent. He deserves a ranked opponent, 100%. We'll see if they give it to him. I don't know if they will or not, but I think he's more than deserving. With that said, we got some big fights coming up this weekend. We got Aaron Blanchfield taking on Macy Barber. This should be a really good one. 14-2 versus 13-2. Aaron Blanchfield, let's see. She's coming off a win over Rose Namajunas. And then, of course, Macy Barber. She's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight winning streak. Her losses are to Alexa Grasso, the former champion, and Roxanne Modafferi. After that, she rattled off 6 in a row. Miranda Maverick, Montana De La Rosa, Jessica I, Andrea Lee, Amanda Hebas, Caitlin Seminara, and now she's fighting the former number one contender in Aaron Blanchfield. I don't think Blanchfield ever fought for the belt. No. No. She fought Andrade, but that wasn't for the belt. Well, why did they put this little bumper sticker next to the name? I don't know. Big fight. I like Macy Barber in this one, to be honest. Blanchfield, I don't know if she has rounded out her game yet with the striking. She typically does the same setup for everything for her entries. And if she doesn't make the adjustments, I think Macy Barber may run away with this one unless Blanchfield is able to bully her way into a clinch and get a takedown. I think she could do some really good work on the ground. Other than that, I think standing Macy Barber is, I think, the more athletic fighter and moves a little bit more, just moves a little bit better on the feet, using angles and things like that. Where Blanchfield is kind of just coming forward. She's just tough. She's scrappy, Jersey tough, but her grappling game is not to be slept on. Good body locks, good leg reaps against the cage, good chokes. But again, if you can't get your footwork on point to a positioning where you can get to your opponent, it doesn't matter how good your submission game is. You need to be able to close the distance and to do it well, not taking too much damage and taking advantage of that. So I think it's a close fight, but I think if it stays on the feet, Macy Barber is the favorite. Unless Blanchfield has some cleaned up some holes for her striking game, and I'm not saying it's awful. I just think it's not as efficient as it is her grappling. But if Blanchfield can somehow cut her off, get her to the cage, make it an ugly fight, slow her down, take her down, I think Blanchfield gets it done. But that's the way this fight goes for me. But I'm leaning towards Macy Barber being a little bit slippery and harder for her to get a hold of. But maybe in rounds 4 and 5, Aaron Blanchfield might start to come on if that gas tank is on point. But I believe Macy Barber still trains at elevation. So I think that's a tough ask that she's going to be able to do that to her. But grappling gets you tired and gets you tired quick. Mateus Gamrot versus Ludovic Klein. This is going to be a banger. Ludovic Klein is a guy who lost early, came back, turned things around, and I've always rated him really, really high. I feel like he was just mean, vicious, and really good technique. Now, look at this. His UFC debut, he comes in, he knocks out with the head kick and punches Shane Young. He loses to Mike Trezano. Loses to Nate Landwehr. He does. He comes back, he beats Devontae Smith. He beats Mason Jones. He gets a majority decision win, draw, over Jai Herbert. He beats Ignacio Bahamondes, who is absolutely killing it right now. So this is what I do, man. I just look at the competition, see the type of level these guys are fighting, and try to match it up that way. And, of course, if you watch the fights, you can kind of see what these guys do well and what they struggled with in those losses. And it helps give you some balance and ideas of how to make your picks and how to place your bets based on those things. And since he lost to Ludovic Klein, Bahamondes won 3 in a row, beating Giagos head kick round 1, Manuel Torres round 1, and Jalen Turner round 1. He is good. So, yeah, this is a very interesting fight. He beat Bahamondes on this streak. So Devontae Smith, Mason Jones, Jai Herbert was a draw, so we don't count that. So it didn't snap his streak. Then he beat Bahamondes. He beat AJ Cunningham. He beat Thiago Moises, that's 5. And then he beat Roosevelt Roberts. 6 in a row. So, did I count that right? Am I an idiot? Do I not know how to count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in a row. Okay. Just had to check. So he's on fire right now. Surging hot. Coming into his own. He's 30 years old. And of course, Mateus Gamrot, he's 34. We all know his game. He's going to shoot, and shoot again. He is another version of a Marab. Constantly looking to get the fight to the ground, to get you back, ground and pound, looking for submission. This guy is a dog. That fight with him and Dan Hooker, I could watch it again because it was that good of a fight. Hooker won by split decision. A lot of people thought Gamrot should have gotten the nod, but it was a really close back and forth fight. And he had a really good fight. The same thing with Arman Sharyukin. Really great fight. And he actually won that by unanimous decision. And that was a dog fight. Then he loses to Beneil Dariush. So sometimes he's up, sometimes he's down, but we know he has the talent to beat some of the best guys because he has such a difficult style for a lot of these guys to handle. This gas tank, I've drank with him before, and I know he's a powerhouse in the drinking department as well when he wants to be. He's an animal. I'm very much looking forward to this fight. I'm a grappling fan. I know he was trying to clean up his striking after the Fiziev fight. Before the Fiziev fight, trying to show that he can do more than grapple. I think stick to the grappling. Strike where you need to strike, but don't make it a thing where you kind of get set in the ways and not using it for a means to an end. We're looking to get the fight to the ground where I do my best work. That's my 2 cents. But of course, if you want to be a striker, hey, it's your world. I'm just living in it. But this is a phenomenal matchup. I'm loving this. Ludwig Klein getting a big step up in competition. Mateus Gamrot. I know they were talking about him having a rematch with Arman Shayukian. I think they said Arman turned it down, and I can completely understand why. This is a fight that really doesn't do much for him, especially being the number one contender. Um, and having a title shot locked up, but now no longer having it. So nothing really gain in that for him. A lot of upside for a guy like Gamrot. But here we are. This is going to be a fun fight. The kickboxer versus the grappler. This is as classic of a matchup as it can get in this day and age of MMA, which is very well-rounded. There's not too many specialists anymore. Everyone's pretty good in every single situation. But I love this fight. It's hard for me to bet against the grappler, especially knowing the dog that he has in him. But Klein has looked so damn good of late. How do you go against that momentum? I don't know. Styles make fights. This is a tough one. But with that said, we got some other fun ones. Dustin Jacoby's back, my guy. Zach Reese taking on Dusko Todorovic. That should be a fun one. Jeremiah Wells taking on Andreas Gustafsson. There's no ways this is a Gustafsson brother, right? There's no way. There's no way. I mean, it doesn't really look like Alex. But there's no way, right? Come on. What? I gotta do a little research on this guy now, because if this is Alex's brother, that's pretty damn cool. But I've never heard of the guy. I don't even know if he's even had a fight in the UFC yet. No, came with a contender. Yeah, so this is gonna be his UFC debut. Looking forward to that. Oh, my man, the Welsh gangster is back. Oban, let's go. Against Ramiz Brahimaj. He's my Albanian friend. I actually don't know him. That's Dennis Bazookia's boy, but it's going to be a good fight. He's taking on the Welsh gangster. This is going to be fun because Oban, I think, is pretty damn good. He's crafty. He's smart. And Ramiz, I think he's kind of been up and down. So this is a good opportunity for both these guys. He just beat Mickey Gall, lost to Themba before that, beat Michael Gilmore, lost to Court McGee, and beat Sasha Palanikov, and then lost to Max Griffin. So up and down, alternating wins and losses. So he's kind of like a middle of the road pack kind of a guy. So for Oban, for him, if he can win and get a finish, this is huge for him. Jordan Levitt versus Kurt Holloway. This is a big one. And who else we got? We got some female fighters and some other guys, but those are the ones I'm mostly looking forward to watching. So, exciting stuff. Guys, really quick, we will be back on Long Island after Murad's fight. I'm going to be more than likely at the National Barbecue Festival at East Meadow. I believe it's at East Meadow. It should be East Meadow. We'll probably be more than likely sponsoring the event. Even if we don't sponsor, we'll be there. It's going to be at Eisenhower Park, June 13th to June 15th. So if you guys are there, definitely come pull up. We'll be selling some Funk Harbor drinks. And, of course, we got to see how we can legally make sure we can sell bottles, getting a retailer involved so that I don't get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not trying to get fined. So with that said, that's the plan so far. And we'll more than likely be in Baku. And I think that's really it. And, of course, if you guys have been supporting the brand, Funk Harbor Rum, funkharborspirits.com, go check us out if you haven't yet. Appreciate all the sales that have been coming in. We are a small business, and we're plugging away as best as we can. So if you have any restaurants or anything like that you go to that you like and you want to try to have them bring in the rum so you could drink it there, or a liquor store that you know, hit me up, shoot me an email. Not the fake one that I posted, because that's a spam box. Sometimes I have to check it because some of the other stuff I still use that email that I just haven't changed because I just forget. So sometimes important things go there, but I have my other actual emails. So if you guys have some legitimate stuff that you would like to do, definitely should reach out or shoot me a DM on the Funk Harbor Rum page. and my team and I or myself will actually check it out and try to get that taken care of and get it all sorted. We're working on the European market. We might have a plan to get over there for sometime later this year, and hopefully Australia. Hopefully, but we'll see. Still working, still grinding. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.